Alright, this is for Hwang Shin. Um, he says he's basically creating a mage, and it's coloring is hard, and he's got some drawing issues, and he knows this. So, alright, first things first, let's cover the drawing issues. So the big thing is um, you are kind of drawing your figure, but you're not understanding the form underneath it. And so what that means is, okay, so you've got your head here. All right, head comes down, neck, and now you realize the center of the face is like so, which is you've got fine, and then the neck, and then the next part is her rib cage. All right, so this is where her rib cage would actually be, and then everything else is pushed, adjusted accordingly. All right. The next thing too is you've got the shoulder, and you have to realize that your arm looks like it's coming up and down like this, but in all reality, it would come out like this. They're closer directly to this shoulder um, shoulder line here, like so. So the hips are okay. I think the feet are okay. A little bit, one is a little bit longer than the other, because if I do this from knee to ankle, like so, and then just drag this one down, that looks okay. I think it's okay. I think it's just the way it's positioned. But that's how you want to build the underlying structure first, and I think that would give you um, what you're really looking for as far as the form and of the figure here. So something like this. All right. So everything needs to be adjusted from the top half of her body. All right. So that being said, let me just. That being said, when you're doing coloring, okay, this is what I would say right off the bat. When you're doing coloring, you're working on white, and so to constantly work on white, one, it's hard on the eyes, and two, it's really difficult to judge your colors because everything's contrasted um, with white. But if you do like a 50% gray, what happens is your your colors become more uh, they become more acclimated to what you really want to go with. And I think the first thing is to work on a 50% gray background. Even if you never touch the gray and toss a different color in down the road, the 50% gray lets you really realize how light and dark your colors are. So that being said, then what you want to do is you want to define a light source. And it doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter um, any of that, because the light source is basically going to um, kind of push the form, all right? And so what I mean by that is if I've got a blue light going on here, um, that's going to change her light source drastically. So what'll happen is, and I'm just going to really quickly do a screen layer here. So what'll happen is the lights of her face, nose, and the chest starts coming into effect. You're going to have more lights here. Um, you can still get the shadow there, but like so, you're going to get the bright lights there, the bright on the arm, and maybe just a hair over here, maybe if this is sticking out, which it's not. But all right, so that is going to be where your push on your light is. Okay, and you probably have highlights on this here too. Your shadows for this layer are going to basically be down here, and they're going to be defined, and it's going to shape out your form. So now your shadows make a little bit more sense. like so. So it's a technical process of just building up the way the form is, like so. And then, you know, over here, get that darker. And under this would be dark. That would pop the hand out too. Under here would be dark. Um, Under the breast, you're going to have shadows and things like that. So get those shadows in there as well. You can darken that up, of course, and get a more contrapposto feeling to it. So those are things that I would tell you right off the bat to start working with. Don't be afraid to go light and dark either. I granted this is just a base character, but if you go with the light and darks, if you go with the heavier darks, you're going to notice more form in the figure. You're going to notice that things pop out a little bit more. Um, you know, like if you want this knee up here, bringing this down and hiding it in shadow a little bit more will actually pop that knee forward. Whereas if you take your highlight here and pop that out, see now that knee's starting to pop out a little bit more. So things like that, that's, you know, what you really want to kind of work with is start putting in the shadows, more the darker shadows, like so. And I think you have a good blending technique. I think you can also, I'm going to just hide these shadows here. I think you can also start, and this is you start getting from real life. So, you know, little things like, let's see here, let's add just a hair of, you know, just a little bit of like the wrinkles in, and it's very subtle, but you see the wrinkles in the outfit just gives it a more realistic approach. Um, you know, even just how things bunch up and under here you'd probably have wrinkles and things like that. So those are things that you really want to pay attention to. Also look at clothing too. That'll actually help out quite a bit. This is like kind of a corset, but in all reality it would be built straight across, and then there would be kind of a dark gap um, starting to form. Not that dark, but you get the point. There'd be a kind of a dark gap in here starting to form where the cleavage is. Um, and again, that's, you know, your shadows, your light, your form, things like that are going to really push that aspect. Now, those are things that you can do to kind of start improving. Um, and it's look at the subtlety of the things, you know, like the little bit of where the boots would wrinkle. Um, and that's going to give it a little bit more realism too. So, and then watch the hand here. This hand is significantly bigger looking at it. Um, this hand right here is significantly bigger than this hand. So fix the anatomy first and then start building up the form, and then you can put your colors in accordingly. All right? Hope that helps.